Hello, welcome to part 2, SBQ. Now, how do you do well for SBQ? First, you must read the issue. Okay? How we set paper is that we will first think about an issue. What is the argument that we want to discuss about? And based on this argument, we will then look for sources. Therefore, you will see 6 sources that have different points of view, different points of view, okay, with regards to the issue that we want to discuss about. Okay, for SS, the issues can be very wide, but for history, the issues are quite straightforward. In terms of the chapter that you're learning now, the main issue that we're talking about is how did Hitler rise to power, or how did the Nazi party rise to power? Okay, in other words, how did the Nazi party get support from the Germans? Okay, in other words, how convincing was Hitler? Was he super convincing as a speaker? Was his posters super convincing to garner people's support? Okay, or did he rise because people were more unhappy? They were more unhappy with the Weimar government, right? So which is the primary reason? Is it because they are unhappy with the Weimar government, which means it is the external circumstance? Or is it because Hitler was a very convincing man that people supported him? So this is the issue when you're talking about how did Hitler rise to power. So you will see all kinds of sources of different points of view, right? You will see some propaganda, which means Hitler's very own propaganda posters, which will definitely show the good side of Hitler and his promises of how he intends to convince people. You will find out what are the promises he's making through these propaganda posters. What else will you see? Right? You will see some interviews, maybe some speeches from regular people, regular Germans. And your mission or your duty, what you're trying to do is trying to decipher what do they mean. What are they talking about in terms of the rise of Hitler? Okay, always go back to the issue, the rise of Hitler. So is it more that when you read these interviews, what people say, is it more that they are unhappy with the Weimar government? Is it more that the Weimar government made their life very miserable, or they were ineffective, and as such, right, support went away from the Weimar government to the Nazis, right? So you have to look at the content of the source to find out, are they more unhappy with the Weimar government because of its ineffectiveness, or are they more swayed by the promises that Hitler gave to people? Okay, so that's for interviews or oral sources that you may get. So look at the provenance carefully. Look at who said the source, right? Is it a source made by the Nazi party? Is it made by the Nazis, which of course will put down the Weimar government and say good things about the Nazi? Or is it regular Germans? Is it regular Germans? Are you looking at their point of view, the sufferings that they're having under the Weimar government? Okay, that will give you a hint to what the source may be talking about. What aspect of life are they talking about? Please look through this very carefully. Yes. Or Is it a statistic? What do I mean by statistic? I mean graphs. Okay, a graph can be a source as well. So when you look at the graph, it's very important that you analyze the graph properly. You're looking for trends. When you look at graph, you're looking for trends, right? Which year are there increase in support? Which year are there decreasing in support? Okay, after you do this, then you ask yourself, what could be the possible reason that support increase or decrease according to the graph? That is when you must use your contextual knowledge, because you know what exactly is happening at that time, and that can help you to explain the graph that you see, whether you see increase or decrease of support. Okay, example, in 1929, what happened? The Great Depression. The Great Depression was something that devastated the lives of normal German citizens. As such, if you see support for the Weimar government decrease during this time, you can say that one of the reasons why could be because of the Great Depression that happened in 1929. Okay, so that is how you explain graphs, right? Hitler's rise, the Nazi Party's rise, was primarily because of the Great Depression, when people were looking for alternative systems of government. People were looking for alternatives. Okay, so that is how you do graphs. Now, hang on, I think hang. So, okay. So for your inference, you must answer the question, and you must talk about the issue, which is the main sentence of the whole investigation. Okay, then after that, you must give clear evidence. If it's a text, you must write down the key sentences. If it's a picture, you must put in the key imagery. Okay, and in pictures, you must always put the caption. The caption is always there for a reason, so you must use the caption. Means that the words inside the picture, and then you make your conclusion. Okay, and finally, you explain in your own words. Okay, you just explain further how these evidence, what are you doing? You're explaining how the evidence that you listed down can help you to come to your conclusion, which is your inference about the issue. Okay? Now I want to go further into the purpose question. So I'm going to open this thing that you've seen before. Now, always look at the provenance, which means the word on top here. Okay, this is the provenance. So you see, source A Nazi poster published in 1932. Take note of the date, take note of who published it, and take note of the caption. Okay, 3 things you must take note of: who published it, the date, and the caption. Take note of everything you see in the picture. Okay, a man, strong man. Who is he likely? He's likely to be a worker, a German worker. Okay, this is a propaganda poster, and they ask you why was it produced. Now, How do we mark? We mark through a level of response, which means we want to see how well you can respond to the question. If you give a context answer, it is level 2, which means you'll get 2 marks. What do I mean by context? Which means that you can tell me what is happening in 1932, which led to the production of this poster, and that is why it is produced. And this is normally how we ask students to write first, which is write the context. So you write this poster was produced as in 1932, right? What was happening in 1932? There were elections. Okay? Germany was experiencing what was Germany experiencing? The aftermath of the Great Depression in 1929. Okay? Hence, people were upset with the Weimar government looking for alternatives. So if you do something like this, you are explaining the context that in 1932, there were many elections going on in Germany. Germany was experiencing the aftermath of a Great Depression in 1929, and people were upset with the Weimar government and looking for alternative forms of government. As such, so this is a level 2 answer. Okay, 2 marks. As such, now you write the message. This was produced. Okay, I need the word because I need you to express your answer as a reason. Okay, as such, this was produced because. Okay, the author. What did the author want to do? Wanted to. And everything you see a propaganda, it is meant to convince people. It is not meant to tell. Okay, the message is not to tell people. It is to convince you of something. So this poster was produced because the author wanted to convince. Okay, because now is the period of election in 1932. Hence, this was produced because the author wanted to convince who is the audience? The Germans, right? The people in Germany, or the Germans. Okay, he wanted to convince the Germans that. Then you have your message. I just put M for message. What is the kind of message that you see in this source? Right? Work, freedom, bread. Work, freedom, bread. In other words, you will have better lives. You will have improved living conditions. Right? In other words, you will have jobs. Okay? Your life will be better. Your life will be good if you vote for the Nazi party. Okay? That's what it means, basically. So use your own words. Okay? Don't write this as your inference, because this is your evidence. Okay? When you infer, you're making a conclusion. You are not giving evidence. So, the author wanted to convince Germans that who is the main subject, the main issue you're talking about is the rise of the Nazi party. Okay, so that the Nazis can, or the Nazi party, right, will make life better and improve living conditions of the Germans. Okay, so a simple message that the Nazi Party will make life better for you. Your life will improve, your living conditions will improve if you vote for the Nazi Party. So, this is your message. Okay, you must put yourself in the shoes of a political artist, a propaganda artist. Every painting, every drawing that you make of a poster will have a message. And the message is linked to the issue of the Nazi Party. What about the Nazi Party are you trying to tell me? I'm trying to tell you that Nazi Party will make life better, will improve the living conditions of Germans. How you know this? Because the source says. This is evident in the source. Okay, which shows a man, a strong man, feeling very proud, and with the caption. What is the caption again? You must list down the caption in your evidence. You must be very detailed as possible. Work, freedom, vote, work, freedom, freedom and bread. Bread. Oh no. Bread. Ah yes. Okay. Open inverted comma, close inverted comma. With the caption work, freedom and bread. Okay. By doing this, by publishing this poster, he hopes, or the author hopes, that who is the audience again? Germans. And then what will the Germans do? Right? He hopes that the Germans will outcome you're looking for. What will they think? Will believe the promises. By saying this message, I want to convince you so that you will believe the promises of the Nazi Party. And when you do that, the ultimate outcome, and because there's an election coming, and support the Nazi. Yeah. So that's your answer. A very nice outcome and a message. Simple as that. So I hope you understand, okay, how to do a source-based question. Don't take it like it's an exam. Okay, take it like you are a lawyer. You are investigating. You are making a claim. When you make claim, right, you need facts. You need to use the facts to make claims, okay, about the issue, to argue about the issue, which is the issue is how did Hitler rise to power? Was it due to the circumstances happening at the time, or was it due to Hitler's abilities? That is the main question. Okay, so in this case, by showing you this poster, it is showing you about Hitler's abilities, in that he was able to make propaganda posters that can relate to the problems that people are going through at that time, okay, in the election year, and to convince them of a brighter future under the Nazi Party. So that is what the source is trying to say. Okay, in other words, this source can be used to tell me that Hitler was very charismatic in his ability to speak to the people to win their support. Okay, other sources will tell you about the local German people suffering under the Weimar government, which led to them having support for Hitler. Okay, the key thing is to link all your answers back to how the Nazi Party rose to power. Okay, and be very detailed in your evidence, and use your own words for explanation, use your own words for inference, because an inference is not a description and inference is making a claim based on the evidence that you see. Okay, so that's it. It's quite long, but I hope you stay to the end because it will help you. Okay, thank you. All the best.